Hello, fine folks, and welcome to Bogey Plays. This fine morning in Europe and fine evening in the uh, west of the US. I'm not playing a game. I'm not playing with questions. We are doing a top 10. We're talking about top 10 midweight Euro games which uh, all of us like. Our guest today is a great dude, a one of the first let's say encounters that I had in the hobby, one of the first designers which I've talked to behind the scenes in the hobby, and it is always a pleasure to talk to him. And he's quite a nice dude, and if you find him in a con or something, just say hi to him. You'd see he will always talk to you and answer your questions. So my guest today is welcome Johnny Pack Canteen.
Thanks for having me on.
It's always a pleasure. Oops, I had my
Likewise.
I had my TV on. How are you guys this fine morning?
For a moment there, I thought you were talking about Big Lebowski.
That's a good dude too. I should have worn my Big Lebowski sweater. I've got one like that as well. But,
Yeah. Uh, great film, great Coen Brothers film. So if you haven't seen it, I think it's a must. The Great Lebowski.
it's a must see.
Uh,
There's a lot of F words in it, so beware. But other than that,
well, yeah, we don't have that problem. So
No, we're not censoring
uh,
ourselves.
so um, this is top 10 midweight Euro games. Was it a hard?
Ish.
Is it a hard one? Was it a hard one to do? Let's go with you, Johnny.
I'm not very good at making top 10 lists because I have a hard time ranking things. And midweight Euro games is my favorite category of games, so it's hard to choose which ones. So I'm kind of going for ones I think are representative of my taste, I think. And I'll kind of mention some runners up and how I arrived at the ones I arrived at. So it was a little bit challenging,
Oh,
but not too bad.
okay, okay. We'll be talking about the runners-up at the end of the list.
Okay, sure.
Uh, and Mr. Radu has a technical problem right now. It is called his kid. He wants attention. So
Okay, I got voice bombed by my own son.
it happens. This
Um,
is this is the pleasures of
so
life.
oh yeah, this is we're not used to waking up this
Oh,
early,
okay.
so it's all over the place. So this top 10 was actually uh, reminded me of two things that I should play more because of all the games on the well, I've looked through a list of 2,000 at least, and I ended up with the same games as I did for other top tens. So I'll give more room for our guest to express himself rather than me talking about the same games.
Yeah, it is what
So
it is.
yeah,
Okay, for me it was a hard list to do. I There are a lot of midweight Euro games out there which I really like. But I set boundaries. I said for me it's, let's say, 2.7 to 3.2 around here is these are my boundaries. Let's see what I can find in this area, which, so I restricted myself this way in order to not put to make it more hard for me. So it was hard, and I like all of these games a lot. So
yes, and we should. All the information is highly subjective because what we consider midweight euros might be gateways to some groups, and vice versa. So this is the list where
also,
you know if you're a gamer. Try these ones if you want to push up um further into the hobby.
Yeah, but I don't think that maybe there's gateways for you. For me, for me, midweight Eurogames is the type of game that gives me in a short amount of time, around an hour, it punches way above its weight. I mean, gives me a good puzzle to solve, and at the end, I will not feel really exhausted, but I will feel I have played a game, and that gives me a pleasure. I have had a pleasure to play a game at the end of it.
Oh, we're gonna have different lists for sure.
uh,
Right?
Johnny, you want to add anything to this intro?
No, I'm pretty excited to dig in and see what you guys picked out and compare notes. My suspicion is I'm leaning a little bit heavier than maybe on the heavier side of medium is what my suspicion is, but there's going to be a fair mix there.
Okay.
Okay, we are enjoying this one. That's why we like having guests, because uh, well, we're going to talk about 30 games today. So let's start with our number 10, and it's going to be as let's go. So I open up the
So,
TVs.
what's the order?
We're gonna go Johnny first, Radu you're second. I'm going to be last.
Oh, you want to have the last word? Okay.
I
Okay.
want to see yours first.
We could snake draft this. I'll start with the 10, then you go around the 10, and then you do your 9, and then come back and I'll do the last 9. We could make this into a game if you want. So
Yeah, make
are
make
you
it
prepared for
make
number
it
10?
harder for the guy who runs the stream. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a tough list for me to pick. So there's a lot of runner-ups, and they're obviously going to be competing kind of for the number 10 spot, like which didn't quite make the list. And this almost feels a little bit arbitrary, but I wanted to represent also some of my favorite designers, if I can at least include one of their games. So this is Istanbul by Rutger Dorn. So I think it was nominated for Spiel des Jahres,
Yep.
or it won. Maybe, I don't know, 2012, 14, somewhere in that era. It kind of came out. I really like that game. I've played it quite a few times. I played all the expansions and things like that too, which I think are actually very good. But yeah, that would be my number 10.
Istanbul is. Do you think the expansion? Which expansion do you like most of this? It has two expansions, practically two big expansions. Uh,
As to, I don't mind actually playing that game straight if I was going to teach it to some other players. I feel like if I played it
what
frequently
did happen here?
together, I
Oh,
might try to throw something in. But generally, I think it's it's pretty good just as a straight out of the box game. It does has a lot of mini games which I like. You'll see that's a recurring theme throughout the my list is games that kind of have mini games within them, and I like the way all the different tiles kind of have their own little personality to them. You go visit them, and maybe you roll dice here, you get a token there, or have that sort of experience with it.
I see. For me, this is it, it's a. I would consider it one of the greats. Greats. How should I put it? It's close to midweight. I think it's a bit in its base. It's a bit easier to than medium. I would say it's a light medium, or
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I think it's one. I think you can even play it with almost. I won't say gateway, but
It's like Gateway
yeah,
Plus, but
yeah,
it might be the lightest game on my list
yeah.
actually. But yeah, it's definitely accessible, which I like about it. It does some unique things and has some clever mechanisms, but I wouldn't be afraid to teach somebody this. And the scoring is so it's a race to a certain number of points, and that's very intuitive versus trying to teach somebody how to manage a point salad game where you're accruing a
Yeah,
zillion points from
yeah,
different
I
sources.
totally agree with that. Uh, let me see. Okay,
Good
good
one.
one.
Good
Good start.
start.
Very good start. I totally agree with it. That is a very good pick. It was on my extended list, and on my very very long extended list. Uh, so, Mr. Mr. Radu,
Right.
go to your number 10.
So we've we've played this on the channel. We've talked about it a bunch. It's one of your favorite designers. Let's see, Benjamin Schwer. He did a double rondel, and it's called
Oh,
Crown of Amara. This
That's a great
game,
game.
when I first played it, my mind melted because I thought this is the hardest game I've ever played at that point. And just by having to think about two rondels, one is moving in the countryside, one is moving into the city. You have to get your resources, sell them for points in the town. There were so many options with little rules to go with it, and there were tough decisions. You have 9 cards, and you go twice through your deck, and that's the
yeah,
game. And
yeah,
it puts you every decision matters, and you try your best to do the the maximum amount
yeah.
of
It's a great
things
puzzle.
during your turn.
Yeah.
It's a really good puzzle, and it's one of the games that I wish I would play more. It just it has a dense and a tight decision space, right? So you need to figure out the best way to reach your goals. But yeah, it's definitely something I was impressed when
When you
I
first played it.
got it. Yeah,
Uh,
and it still is.
yeah. That is one of my.
How short was this on your list?
Oh man, this was. Yeah. Can I say something?
Why? It's beyond medium or
No,
what?
it's the perfect medium. I forgot about it.
You forgot to put it on his list.
I totally forgot about it. I have to walk with my
Man,
head down. I love this
I
game. I
almost
love this game. But I told you it was
I
so
almost
hard. I have so many.
Yeah. So this was number 11 actually, and it went back into 10, taking the place of Hansa Teutonica, just
Mm,
honorable mention.
Gotcha,
Um,
gotcha.
just couldn't figure out which one, so I picked
Yeah.
this one because it was heavier.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. I love this game.
That's a
Yeah.
good choice. That's a designer I think is very
Yeah,
underrated and not a household name. And he had a new one that came out of Essen last year, which I really
Jin.
enjoyed too, which was
Yeah.
Jin.
Yeah.
hmm And then he had a really old game, which I still love, which is called Livingstone, which is
I haven't played
fantastic.
that one.
And then he did Hadara, which I think is a contender to kind of muscle into the space of Seven Wonders. I think
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
great
Yeah.
drafting Civ game. And then he has another new one called New Eden, which I actually really enjoyed too, about having
We
kind of
play
an
that
underwater
one.
city
It's
stuff. But
amazing.
he's
Yeah.
a fantastic designer, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think people should pay attention to his work a little bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we sing his praises here. We have played New Eden on the channel. We have
Oh
played
yeah.
Jin on the channel. So
Big
yeah, we
fans of
like him
Benjamin.
a
Yeah,
lot.
nice, good, excellent, excellent. Yeah,
So this was. I'm walking. I want to. Wow. Okay.
He wants to start all over again. He wants to include it in his top 10.
Oh,
Well, you covered. I
you
have
have
it.
it. Yeah.
he
Yeah, you
got it.
got it.
Yeah,
So my number.
it's been voted on the
Yeah.
island.
My number 10 is. If you put King of Tokyo on this list, I'm gonna forgive it this time.
Okay, I'm updating my list on the fly.
So my number 10 is a game which at some point was here behind me. Game designed by some Italian designers, by a group of that school of design, which I really, really enjoy, which has good artwork, which translated into another game, which probably we'll be talking about later, which was unfortunate. So
Ooh,
the
what happened?
game is. Can you guess the game?
I
It
can
was.
guess.
No,
Yeah, come on, guess it.
I don't.
Lorenzo?
Nope, it's Coimbra.
No,
It's Coimbra.
Coimbra. Oh, okay. Those Italians, yeah, they're
Which
all
one?
part of the same syndicate. I know what you mean. Coimbra.
So it's a this. I think this is one of those games where I don't really think I feel its weight. Uh, um, you have some dice drafting. You need to place those dice on certain rows, which give you certain cards. Which with those cards you create a small engine, which will give you points. But you have to manage two
Wait,
tracks.
this is beyond 320.
I don't.
Seems a little heavy.
It's 326.
You're cheating
Come
yourself
on,
right
it's
now.
326. It's
Okay.
nickels. Come on, it's nickels.
Okay, so
Wow,
I'm allowed with the next one.
It feels a
for
little
being-
heavy, but yeah, okay.
I don't know. Every time I've played it, I don't feel its weight. I think the artwork works well on this one, unlike another game which has artwork in the same realm, which I am not a fan of.
We'll be talking about that.
Yeah, like I said, it's a nice puzzle. It's fast. It's fun. It's a let's say a good twist on dice drafting. So I would highly recommend to try this one if you enjoy this realm of mid-weight Euro games. I do think it might. I don't know if it's going to happen. Now Plan B is with Lookout Spiele. So I don't know if it's going to have a reprint, but this one has. I think it would. An expansion would bring it up again. A few more cards here, maybe a few more tiles here. It doesn't need a lot to bring it back to attention. I think it's a very good, well designed, tight, fun midweight Euro game.
I think it has a small expansion actually you can get directly from the publisher's website. It comes in a small box.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't. I'd say widely available.
Yeah, it was kind of an exclusive thing.
I want something that has those and maybe a few more cards here, which
Sure.
gives you, because I've played it a bunch because we played it on the channel at some point, and we need to play it in English also. And it's good, and I've played it a bunch with all those cards, and in a way I kind of saw it. I kind of wanted a few more cards here and there, but a fun Euro game. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That was my number 10. Let's go to
Good one.
number 9.
Right.
And Johnny, you have the.
Okay, so this was another tough one to pick, but I need to pick some Stefan Feld game for this list. I just wouldn't be a complete list without it. Within that's tough because I'm a big fan of his work, and so I whittled down to probably saying this wrong, but Trajan.
Trajan.
I'm not sure how you say that, but anyway. But I really enjoy the game. I think it's the Mancala in the mini games again just comes together really well, and it demonstrates kind of his prowess for making lots of little interacting systems that combo into each other. But I really like that one a lot.
Why I have to. This is really a medium heavyweight. I'd have to. I think this one goes beyond and beyond midweight. This is a gamer's game. You need to be a gamer to. It's hard to trick someone if you're going to take someone from a lighter medium to a medium weight game. I think if you try this one, his brain might go a bit crazy because it has all those mini games inside.
Yeah, I agree with that. But the strange thing is how accessible Castles of Burgundy is, because it actually has a lot of mini games and a lot of different tiles that you have to interact with, and that's actually been kind of a favorite Gateway Plus game for a lot of people, and it kind of is a also sort of heavy game for what it is. And I kind of feel like, to me, those feel similar, but I know historically the accessibility of Castles of Burgundy has been much wider, that a lot of people like that game.
I think Castles is the one for this list, if you ask me. But it's your pick.
I think what Johnny Pack has put here is put him to the test. Oh, you know what board games are? Here you go. Let's play Trajan.
Yeah.
I'll prove you wrong.
And the Mancala is not. I mean, this will make your brain go wild a bit. The Mancala itself, to make it work as efficiently as possible. Not it's simple. The mechanics of it is simple. The mechanism in itself, it's simple. But to make it efficient, because this is where the crux is, to make it as efficient as possible. Where do I leave these? Where do I go for the next one? Where do I go for the next one? To plan ahead with every move. I mean, man, that's and this is the part which I like most about this game. The other, it feels like I take a part from here, I take a part from here, I take a part from here, I take a part from here. Okay, I made a new game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I guess that's a big difference, is you can really strategize your rondel thing because there's no real randomness there, right? Yeah. And where Castles of Burgundy, you need to roll the dice periodically and then make the best decision with those dice. So at a certain point, you have your intentions, but you have to deal with the results that you get. And I think that kind of stops that very, very, very long-term planning that you can get with the alternate. So even though maybe mechanically there's just as many levers to pull, this one has a pretty clear trajectory all the way out, besides some of the revealed tokens that kind of incrementally come out. But you just don't have something like dice in the same place as this one.
That's a cool double niner. Trajan slash Castles of Burgundy.
Just a good feld game. If you need to go a little bit lighter, any feld game that was in that weight would be satisfactory to me, because I really enjoy most of his games.
Well, you are allowed to your opinion.
Of course.
We're
so
just having
while we're still on the bandwagon of heavy midweight Euros.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Let me join in on the camp, and this one I've picked it. And it's strange because it's right after your Italian school of designers, and it's about that's how should I put it, it's Stone Age on
did
steroids.
You like it that much?
I absolutely adore this one and wish to play it more. This list is what do I want to play right now. I mean, I will cut the stream short and put on the table and just enjoy it.
I love this game, but it's heavier than I needed to cut. I love this game. You're right.
Yeah, I know. Do you want a replacement, or do I want? Let's talk about something.
Yeah. So the game is Terramara for people who have not. I don't know if I've played it.
Oh yeah, I tend to not tell the name and just tease the audience about what the game is about. So yeah, I love the artwork. The worker placement, there are a very unique setup of the board. It's modular. This is a 4-player game because it scales down and you have to.
I like it at 2. I like it at 2 because it.
Yeah, but it has a separate set of rules. So I don't like when it cuts the game short because it has to make room for a 2-player experience. So the full, the full experience would be with 4. That's the way I like to play this game.
You have played it more since we played it on stream with 4?
Oh, that's the point. I opened it only once.
Okay.
I once with you and once with the other group, and it still holds really bright in my memory, a bright spot. This is one of the ones that you've introduced me to, and I never looked back. And it's a really unique thing, about one thing I would like to talk about these characters, where you start as a child and you decide when you want to grow up. And I wish I would see that more often. It adds theme or personality to your meeples, and gives you the freedom of choice. It's not like in the third round, this and that happened. No, do you want to continue having your special ability, your power, or do you want to
Or you want to get points?
keep that up in order to receive points? So you decide.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to discover and try if you can find this one,
Yeah,
right?
I
It's
don't
still
know if it's
available.
still.
I don't know about retail possibilities on any of these games, but
Yeah.
it's good. A good copy to find in.
It's on my wall of shame. I bought it at the Essen when it came out. I want to say 2019, something like that. And I've been meaning to play it because I'd like those
All right,
designers.
I'm
and
looking
I like that publisher.
for airplane tickets right now. How much is it to get this?
It's a this one is Don't Grow Up is a Trap. It's you will see that one, you'll feel that one, because it's far more fun to have the ability, but you need those points at the end, so you need to grow up at some point because you want those points. And it's we called it Stone Age on steroids because it's practically you get resources to to build cards. Practically, this is what you do in the game, but in a different way. It's fun. It's a fun, but for me, it's a medium heavy. It's not a medium weight, but well, you went there. You went more into the mid-heavy than me, who I am a heavier player, who I enjoy heavy games. Well,
all right. So from this point on, it will not go
okay.
as high as that. So it's going to get lower.
King of Tokyo. Okay. My number 9 is
expectations have been lowered.
I'd say it should be around the midweight, around 3 on BGG. It's a game that came out of China, which we have played on stream. It's a fine puzzle. It's a fun 3 to 4 player game, as a 2 player is meh. And it has a cool gimmick, which is the action selection mechanism. Can you guess?
But it's in yin yang.
Yes.
I mean, that's all you had to say. I mean, the gimmick with the turtle.
This is a game where you have a set of coins. The coins have numbers on it, and you put them in a let's see, if in this turtle here, you how is it called in English? You shuffle it inside that turtle, and then you let them out. Those all of those coins you need to place it in order to get actions in certain combinations on your player board, and you get actions on your player board and on the play board. There is a board between players where you can get actions also. So you have actions on your player board and on the board in the middle. And you have to, in the end, you get points, and you have to create certain patterns with gemstones, which you get on the main board. There aren't too many pictures about this game because it's not really known, but we have played it on the channel. People can watch it, and I don't know, hopefully they can get it. You can always find it in Essen because those guys have it there. It has a very good production. It has the only thing which I don't like is that it has cubes instead of houses, and I have some houses, some Chinese houses, and I use it instead of cubes. That's the only thing which I don't like about the production, but everything else is top notch. And it has a very good puzzle here, because I won't get into all the details, but you need to create certain patterns with the gems that you get on the main board, and that will give you points at the end of the game in the way you create those patterns. And everything, the patterns are in a way the same from game to game, but you will these tiles are different. You arrange them in a different way from game to game. So you'll score different things in different patterns, and things change with the way that those gems, the way the gems are set on the main board, and you need to create different routes. It's a route builder also. It's quite a fun game, which I highly recommend if you enjoy this type of mid-weight Euro games.
Sounds cool. So I have not heard of this one. So from the pictures, it looks like you load up that turtle shell with the coins and then shake them out, and it like determines if they're heads or tails or something,
exactly,
or what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. That's neat. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind a little gimmick like that, but that was unexpected. Is that a metal
it's a
shell?
metal shell.
Is that what it looks like?
It's a metal turtle shell. Yeah.
No kidding. Wow, that's pretty cool. I'll have to look for that one.
Highly recommend it. BG Nations is the publisher. You can find it in Essen. Always they are there.
Nice.
The next game is our top 8. So go, Mr. Johnny.
Yeah.
Okay, so since we all love the Italian designers, I have to put one of those in there too. And it's a hard choice. I like so many of their games, and it's not the same people, but there's they tend to collaborate a lot. Where you get 1, 2, or 3 of these people, and then if you kind of follow the development, follow these designers, they just tend to lead you to some really good games. But this one was actually pretty easy for me to nominate, because it would be Darwin's Journey.
This is
and that's Luciani and
Nestore Mangone.
It's these Nestori and Luciani did this one, and they also did Newton, which I like a lot too, but this one's a little bit more interactive than Newton. I do like interaction. Again, this game has a bunch of mini games in it, which I really like, and I like the theme. I thought that they integrated that pretty nicely. It's a little overwhelming to learn at first, but once it gets going, it's pretty straightforward what you're doing. It is a worker placement, and you're doing worker placement things. We're just interacting with a lot of mini games. There's a lot of modularity, so maybe that adds the complexity a little bit. As each game, you have to select certain new worker placement spots, and if you play with the expansion, there's all different maps and more units that you can deploy as boats and all that. But I think just straight the base game, I think is very, very good actually as it is. I wouldn't even say you need all that extra stuff.
This one sits there in the list of games that need to be played on stream. For the stream, I got it at Essen last year, and it needs to be. It should be on stream in the next 2 months probably. This is a game which I love. Newton is in my top 100 games of all time, and I have been waiting to play this one for a while now, so it's going to be on. Quite curious.
Good.
But,
I hope I can join you on that experience, on that voyage.
You will.
On that Beagle voyage.
But this is, I have to say, this is a medium heavy towards heavy game.
It leans towards heavy. I'd say this very, very base game, just straight up with the recommended first tiles. That's the best introduction to it before you get changing stuff out with more complex abilities or the more advanced map.
Oh yeah. I'm going to try to see. So, your number 8, Mr. Radu.
Okay, so this is an oldie that fell a bit from the public perception, and I always find room to talk about it. It's another typical your board game that's named after a town.
Is it?
And this one had. This one is Ulm, and it had that puzzle where you push in a 3x3 grid.
Never use
the tile you get from a bag. I don't know why that's such a simple mechanic that you just can't really see in other games, and this is what stands it apart from its competitors a bit. So. You know me, I judge the book by its cover, it has that little church that's over produced a bit, but it's just a counter, round counter to hold some cardboard tiles. But it's a really it's a presentable. It aged phenomenally, and
it's good.
I still play it with the same engagement as the first time. So
quite good.
it's
I think this is a, believe it or not, it's an 8-year-old game. It came out in 2016. So it has a while, and I have it in my collection. I do enjoy this one. I don't know if you have played it, Johnny.
Yeah, it's a good game. I like it. I like that designer, and I think it's one of his best games in his catalog. He makes a lot of kind of like family, lighter games. This is one of the heavier games that he's done, and that little mechanism there in the corner where he's selecting the actions is kind of worth the price of admission, as we put it. Reminds me a little bit of the Lorenzo Magnifico with the marbles, the derivative game. You're kind of pushing the marbles through and doing the colors. And the old Ravensburger Labyrinth, where you're pushing the maze tiles through to do that. But it's a fun action selection. I would definitely appreciate it.
I think the marbles in came afterwards, I believe, after this one.
I think so. Yeah. This one was predated that one for sure.
Okay.
This is one of those ones where it's kind of a sleeper hit. Like if you know about it, you like it, but like you kind of mentioned, not everybody thinks of it right away.
Yep, that's true. My number 8, right? My number 8 is a game we were. I forgot. Yeah, well. I forgot to go to the. Yeah, well, it is. Let's go forwards to my number 8. My number 8 is a game. We were talking about Feld. This is one of my favorite Felds, and it's a game that has been rehashed, republished, new artwork. Keep the old. This is one of those games where the in my opinion the older artwork was better. The game was good anyway, so. Why do we need a new edition which is worse than the first one?
Is it Hamburg?
It is Hamburg, but it's not Hamburg. It's Brugge.
It's Bruges.
It's Brugge. I really enjoy this game.
I mean, it shows our age that we enjoy the nostalgic value.
I don't think it's nostalgic. I just think it's a good game. I do like the fact that the first time I've played it, it felt a bit random, but it's not random. You need to know how to create that tableau of cards to be as efficient as possible, and you have so many good choices in this game. You have good cards which say, I want to keep this card till the end, maybe I'll be able to score it, but I want a house right now, or I need to take away 2 tiles because if it rolls a 3 or 1 or a 2, it was, I think 1 or a 2. If it rolls a 1 or a 2, oh man, I am ducked this round because the
dice, right?
The pest is going to come. It's going to kill some of my citizens, or it's going to destroy. The fire is going to destroy some of my houses, so it has so many good choices inside it. It has. I have the house animals. I have everything for this game. If they needed to do a new print, it should have kept the original artwork. It should have kept. If they needed, probably, I don't know if a newer board, a bigger board, it does not need. I think this game still holds up. The production is still good. I don't need screen printed meeples or things like that. I think it was a good game, and I don't know why Hig or Hasselglück has given up on this one, because it has given up a long time ago. This is a great Feld. It's one of my favorites, and in a way, I'm sorry that And you will see this because in the second-hand market, this is more expensive than the new one.
It is
Yeah.
very expensive. It's one of the most expensive games I chased down, and then they made the new version. But
Yeah, I've
it
been
and its
chasing this
expansion
game
is very, very hard to get.
for years, and I landed on
Mhm.
an Flemish copy, and I had to do a ton of pay
It's
stops.
worth it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's
It
worth
is.
it. It
Yeah.
is. You know, those characters are so they bring life to everything. So yeah, a lot of cards, a lot of artwork. A good choice.
So let's go to number 7. Mr. Johnny.
Okay. Yeah. So this is another one where I want to represent some designers I like, and I picked one of 3 possible games that I feel are almost equal to represent them. But I picked The Magnificent. The runners up for this would have been Revive and Santa
Okay.
Maria, but of those, I actually really like The Magnificent. That's the
I
same.
haven't played this one.
Some of the same designers worked on all of those, and it's a dice drafting game with lots of little mini games. You do it's a circus theme. You got like a build your circus with polyominoes. You've got a little area to move different wagons around the map. You've got resources you're converting. You're picking up dice and building a tableau, which is modifying the other dice you get. It's got kind of a cool drafting mechanism where you have to pay variable costs based on the values of the dice, and then you put on performances. I think it's a really nice game. They use some really interesting artwork. It's dark because it's kind of looks like it's in a lot of stuff that's been done around a campfire, and there's just like kind of a neat aesthetic to it. And some people complain that the theme is just pasted on, which arguably maybe it is or isn't, but it's very beautiful in my opinion. And I think it kind of represents those designers well. Where another game I really like by them is Santa Maria, but there's a lot of problems with that theme that they didn't really address. So that game turned off a lot of people from that. And their new game Revive has been kind of a real
Yeah, it has been.
hot thing. But I feel like the Magnificent kind of does everything I like in one spot, and I really do enjoy the dice drafting of that one.
I have not played this one. This is I have just not played it, and if I'm gonna try to get a copy in order to play it, also to have it on the channel.
It is on my to-do list for sure. Just to know what it's all about.
I have not managed to play Revive either. I'm really put off by the way Revive looks. It just doesn't look good for me, and I think they went for that theme and whatever. I don't know. We're going towards these
post-apocalyptic,
because that
bring
doesn't
up
offend anyone.
Yeah.
So in a way,
It's
it's
safe.
safe. We're going towards safe things. We're not touching any more sensitive subjects. You need to touch sensitive subjects, so you need to do it in a good way. But I don't think it's smart to go in that direction.
Yeah. No.
So Radu, what is your number 7?
My number 7 is the perfect segue from Magnificent, which is performance-based.
Does it start
This
with
one
an S?
is on the
Please
stage.
tell me.
Yeah. What's that? Oh, this is a
Yeah, it
fantastic
is.
game.
My only problem is I don't have this game in my collection.
Oh, you'll probably there's one copy with your name on it somewhere. So this is Shakespeare, and it's a very well produced game. The artwork is phenomenal. It's really hard to do points in this game, but it's more about the fun of which actors stage craftsmen you employ, and they give you several things that you can get props or costumes for your actors, and there's a so every round where these people get tired, right? So you have to choose which ones are you going to use now and which ones we will not have available for next round.
Okay.
And pretty much, get points by adding to your stage. You're making your actors look good by putting on fancy robes, which is pretty um, distilled, right? It's really not a, how do you call it? Abstracted, okay?
Okay.
So the theme comes from the artwork, and it works it works together in such a way that it
The game
brings
alive.
a game alive. Yeah,
Uh,
it's
yeah.
tough to talk about this game without having it in front of you, but it's been in my list for a long time, and I will recommend it every time I have the
Oh
chance.
yeah. I don't. Yeah.
Do you
This.
know this one?
I have this, and it's on my wall of shame. I bought it when it came out, and it's been on the wall of shame ever since it came out. It's been a while. So I chased it down when it came out, and I chased down the little expansion for it, and I've got some art prints or something that also came with it, and I'm just waiting for a time to pull it out. I've heard nothing but good things about it,
Oh
though.
man.
Yeah.
This is. I don't have it, but well, it is what it is. I'll have to live with it. And this is I think the only pretty study game out there. I don't think you'll ever find another pretty study game out there. I mean, come on, Kalos or Kylos or whatever you want.
Yeah, I kind of want to get a tattoo of that dude on my arm, just arms folded, just kind of grumpy, just kind of. I might do it. I have some really stupid tattoos. I might as well just add that dude on there.
Oh man, oh man. So numbers. My number 7, right? My number 7 is
Yeah.
a game which was very well regarded, which was pretty. I think it was highly priced at some point because it didn't you couldn't find it anymore. Although it was a small game, a small ugly game, like most of Alea Ravensburger game were at some point. But the reprint, the new edition, made it more beautiful, made it available again, and made it replayable for a lot of time. The game is Glenmore 2 Chronicles.
Oh. You have 3 games already that were on my short list. So happy I didn't include them in mine.
I really enjoyed this game. It has,
Yeah.
I think it is best 3 or 4. The 2-player game, I am not fond of it. That rolling dice, you just roll the die and you cannot prepare for anything. Usually, if you have a third player, you can prepare. You kind of see what he wants. You kind of see where he would go, and then you see the second player what he wants, what he would want, and you can prepare for that and see, okay, how much far can I jump? What can I get? This is, I think this is I think the best part of the game. The action selection mechanism is some of the best part of the game. The other production is cool. All the modules that come in are cool, but the crux of the game is there. What tile do I get right now? What am I leaving you guys with? Am I jumping too far away? Should I not jump that far away? And when you pull off a good mind game, man, you feel good. You feel good when it happens. The thing, or when someone takes a tile from you because he sees that and he says, maybe he has a plan. Maybe I'll use it later with this one because I know a tile might come later, and I know this tile is really not good for him. But can I? And this is a part of that game, the choosing a tile. And man, it's good. It's good, and now it looks good. It added the new board which I think it's fun. So for me, fun game. It has also it has added with one of it. We have played it on stream. With the 11th Chronicle, it added a bit of a long-term planning. You can buy some land, which you can later on that land you can build some things, and you can plan a little bit along or longer than you usually do. It's fun. It is a fun game. And I recommend, if you enjoy this hobby, this is a game which you need to try.
Yeah. And this is how you do a big box without advertising it as a big box. It's a good
Yeah,
one.
without writing on it, Glenmore.
Yeah.
Great
Mhm.
little, game. Uh,
Well, it's not. Well, it's a little big box
what?
with 8 modules inside
Yeah,
already.
and an expansion which adds a few more, which are good. The fact is, 11, the 11, I would never play without the 11th one. Let's go to number 6, Mr. Johnny. What is your number 6?
Okay, my number 6 is so this number 6 had a similar story to Glenmore, where at one point it had a game that came out, then another game came out and made it widely available, and the game that came out afterwards got nominated for or won some awards and things like that. But I'm going to be a real hipster about this and say I like the first game better. This is Witch's Brew, which came out later as Broom Service. But the old Witch's Brew, I just think is phenomenal because it cuts straight to the mind games and the drafting part, and it doesn't have kind of this, what I find some problems with the map and how that works out. It gets a little convoluted. So it's still actually hard to get because they did create this other game, which is widely available, but the original kind of came and went, and there was a long period of time where it was just impossible to get, and I think on the secondary market it still holds a pretty good value.
Witch's Brew was done also by let me see, the Broom Service. No, it's the redone game. I love Broom Service. I really like this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it has the same mechanism where you're drafting some cards of actions you're going to do, and then when it's your turn, you're going to decide whether you're the brave gatherer of this thing, or the brave witch, or the kind of cowardly one. And if you're the last one standing and do the brave one, you get to do the better version of it. So that mechanism is there, but you don't really have this big board. You have a market of different contracts you're trying to fulfill in kind of a smaller ecosystem. So it's really less about the board and the positions of the units, where it's more about what you have in front of you, what I see that you have in front of you, what I think you want, and being able to read what somebody's intentions are. And I think that's a little bit lost in Broom Service. There's another little hitch with Broom Service, not to waste time knocking on it, but I feel like you kind of think of a combo in Broom Service. It's like, okay, if I move and then I do this action, and this action, but if something happens and you get cut off and don't do that first move, then your next action doesn't even make sense. You might even win and become the brave version, but it's a null move because you just can't perform the action. And without that logistical hang up in the original, you're just playing the mind games and trying to maximize your stuff, and it feels very, very engaging to me.
Yeah, I really like. I have not played, so I cannot compare it. I have not played Witch's Brew. I have played, and I have Broom Service, and I think it's one of the Fisters, one of the underlooked Fister game. Everyone is with the greatest Australia and so on. I really like this one. I have not played the Witch's Brew, so probably if I'm going to get a copy, I'm going to try it too. If I'm going to find a copy somewhere, or someone who has it, going to try it, because I really like Broom Service.
Yeah, if you like it, you'll like both, and they're different enough that if you can have Broom Service, the card game, Broom Service, and Witch's Brew, if you had all three of those in your collection, I think they each do something special, so it'd be worth having them all.
Yeah, I do like the artwork of Witch's Brew, which is rare for me to say about Alia Ravensburger games. So, Radu, what's your number 6?
All right. So we've slightly talked about this one in the beginning. It's a game that you have right there behind you, actually. It's one of the games that I feel a personal connection to, and and kind of having grown in a village myself,
I
it
see.
brings back that nostalgia,
Is it
right?
called
So
Village?
feels it's village,
Village.
yes, but
Mhm.
the 2011 version,
Yeah. So,
um, uh,
I was talking about the Coimbra artwork that was translated into another game. So this is the game where the Coimbra artwork was translated into a newer
yeah,
version, which made Village a game that it is not. Unfortunately, it's one ago. Okay.
it I think it tailors to a modern audience, and we're just not in tune with the new takes on where the appearance and the tastes of the customers, right? So
I don't think so.
I do
No,
appreciate
I
the
don't think
older
so. I think
version.
it was a mistake from the publisher because it was not a success. Although it was a big box, although it had everything in it, although it had the double layer play. I tried to get a copy to play it and make the differences and talk about it. I want to do that. Um,
Yeah.
because although it had everything it needed to bring this game alive, I think the publisher missed the mark. They did not understand what Village is. But, well, we'll talk about this.
Yeah, well, we'll talk
Mhm.
about the old
Yes,
version here. I mean, we're not really, it's not comparing the two. It's just, yeah. So
great game.
this one
Yeah,
is really what represents the living on a farm, and you try to get your grain and you do tools to um,
yeah, to
and
farm.
then you need to go to explore on the map, and this one
Oh,
gives you points for doing this and that. And the one thing that makes this game stand out is that your meeple has a really a short living
li- lifespan. Yeah,
lifespan,
yeah.
right? So once they grow old and they get to a certain point, you have to choose which one of them you take to
Which one? Well, he
the
lived. You don't
graveyard.
choose. They die.
Well, yeah. So we had a lot of fun playing this live on various
Yeah.
occasions, and it every time was blast, and doing this and that, and you take no, you go and pick these cubes that will help you by completing certain tasks or visiting certain places. But it's a really good experience if you get in tune with the what it's
To
trying
achieve.
to
Yeah.
tell you.
I think it's not a bad game. I'd say it's not a bad game. S-
I like that game a lot. I like those designers a lot, and I think that's
yep,
one of they're still one of their best
yep.
games. And it's actually been fairly influential in my own work. It kind of caught me at a point where I was kind of discovering myself as a designer, and I play that, and I really enjoyed that. And I think several of my games have graveyards in them now, kind of as a little homage to that game. So
Uh, well, Radu, my number six is a crossover with you, an overlap, but it's the designers.
Oh, I don't know.
It's the designers. It's an overlap with this number, and it's the designers, and the game is
Hmm.
Rajas of the Ganges.
Oh,
nice. Yeah, it's a good one too.
I really enjoy this game. It
so many
Yeah,
dice.
it has a nice production and it feels so good to play. I like the puzzle of what I do on my board. I like going up the river, trying to go to the market, be as efficient as I can into the market, and try to see what do I score more points? Do I get more money? And how can I do it faster in order for these two tracks to meet, in order to, as
Hmm.
efficient as possible, be the winner of the game, because this is again a puzzle of efficiency. Everything that you do is a puzzle of efficiency. I think it looks good. And what those dice, big chunky dice, beautifully colored, create a with all the colors in it. I think it was it Dennis Lohausen who did the artwork for this one.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
artwork. Yeah.
He manages to create these gamey looks. Like Crown of Emara, because we've talked about it. It's also done by Dennis Lohausen.
And Village,
Village,
also done by
done by
Dennis.
Dennis Lohausen.
Village
Yeah.
and Crux of Quedlinburg. He's done a lot of
Wow.
fantastic games. He integrates the user interface in with his artwork all at once, and I love that about his work. That he obviously understands the gameplay, and it's never just slapped on. It's integrated, and
Right.
he's phenomenal for that.
And I don't know. I like it. It's fun. It's fast. It's not a game that drags. And I think again, I find it a bit of an overlooked one, in a way. But there are so many games today that these might slip. But this is one of my favorite midweights. My number
That's a good one.
6 was Rushes of the Ganges. Let's go to number 5. We're halfway there.
All right. Number 5. Okay, so we mentioned this one a little bit in passing, but Mr. Grumpy on the original box cover there is Kalis. So I really enjoy Kalis, and it did get reprinted as Kalis 1303, which I think is good. But I'm going to be kind of an old school hipster about this. I do like the original quite a bit, and I do have the box cover with him with his arms folded and the whole ordeal. And I'm actually have something that's very hard to get for here on a shelf. I've got the oldie starry Kalis miniature. Yeah, this is extremely hard to get. I had a friend seek it out in Europe for me and give it to me at last Essen, which is kind of a holy grail piece there. I think it's a fantastic game. It's one of the first worker placement games. It's not the first worker placement, but it does that, and it has a kind of a cool twist where there's a big river, and the sequence of which the things fire off is basically in the order of this river. And it's also considered kind of one of those old school mean Euros where you can kind of directly and indirectly mess with the other players a little bit or a lot. Yeah. So I think it's very cool that
I had a game go sour because of that.
You got to know what you're getting into with that. And if you want to kind of stay behind the line of danger, you can play a little more conservatively. Or if you're playing with people who like to stab you, they'll get you up there. But I think it's a good example of worker placement in that, and it's also a good example of the order in which players lay out the tiles in which they come out in the order actually changes the economy of that game quite a bit. That if the wood comes out before the building action, then you can get the wood and then build. And if it happens to come out afterwards, that means you need to, I build, but I don't have the wood. So now I've got the wood and I need to wait till next cycle. And so there's an interesting, you kind of learn the rhythm of that game, and it's going to be a little bit different each time you play it. And I think it's really cool.
As far as I know, I don't have any of it in my collection. I would wanted to take 1303. But as far as I know, you can play 1303 with the old rules. There's nothing that's stopping you to do that.
Maybe I think you need to get some coins because they eliminated the need for coins in the game. So you're kind of just paying extra meeples in the new one. They folded that together. And the other one, you have to pay meeples and some number of coins in order to do the actions. So I think
that's not hard to get coins.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you'd switch it. You'd probably have to patch a few things like that to make it work. And there's a lot of special powers in the new one. So you kind of bid to get these special rule bending effects. And those weren't in the original either. And I found that if a certain player lets those stack up and they have 2 or 3 of those and they get these crazy combos, it's very hard to slow them down from just steamrolling the game there. I think the original was a little bit more of a pure Euro compared to 1303.
Yeah, this is okay. I finally found it. This was the original, original of the original. Man, it's I don't know. What were they thinking? And those hands are creepy. What were they thinking? Uh,
I don't know.
uh,
I'm sure I've got a spot somewhere on one of these arms. I'm gonna get that tattooed on there just for kicks, just to say I did.
this is the um, yeah, this is one of those games which I do not have. One of those classics that I don't have in my collection. I would like to have. And Mr. Radu, what is your number 5?
All right. So this is an evergreen. Everyone's keeping. This is Mudgart's one-hit wonder. This will, be remembered for this design for
But
for
Max
for all
Max
eternity.
Guts is not a one-hit wonder.
Okay, I like to tell that.
No, I'm sorry. No,
I
no.
like to think
I have
yeah.
Navegador. I have Imperial, which I think is a great game for what
All
it
right,
is.
but everyone talks about Concordia.
It's the one
None of
that's
them
not a
talk
Rondell
about.
game.
So you like either titles. Most people just see him as the Concordia guy, and this is a pretty much get resources, uh, fill your warehouse, and turn those into spots on the main board. So
Yeah.
just trading in the Mediterranean as close to that as you can get. But it's still a fun
I
experience
love it.
every time.
Yeah.
It's it aged well as well. Um,
Yeah, and
it's basically you have a row of cards and you have a hand management of what actions you want to do, and you can kind of copy other players into doing and taking spots that everyone wants and all that. So
yeah, good
yeah,
game. Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
I know this is an oldie, but it still
And
holds up
again,
today.
Muggards is not a one hit pony.
Sorry to offend you,
I
your
think that
sensitivity.
Transatlantic is quite good, and Navigator is good, like I said. So
This has a
yeah,
gazillion
but
maps
this is
and
his
ways
hit,
of
his huge
playing.
hit. But it's not a designer that only designed one thing, and
Okay.
he got lucky with it. Yeah, he's Mr. Rondell. That's for true. that's,
That's the funny thing is he's the
yeah,
Rondell guy, but Concordia is his biggest hit and it doesn't have a
it,
Rondell. So it's always like,
it does have, but you don't see it. The way you play those cards is a Rondell practically, but you don't see it. It's well hidden. It's very well hidden.
okay.
So my number 5. My number 5 is from those Italian designers. Uh,
Yeah.
and this is around that 3.2 line. The game is called The Voyages of Marco Polo. I really like this game. Um, I like the tightness of the first version.
One or two.
I like them both. I'll choose one because I have played more Marco Polo, the Voyages, than Marco Polo 2 in the Something of the Khan. Um,
Hmm.
but I like them both. Again, graphics and illustration from Dennis Lohausen. Um, it,
Well, almost
it's
top 10 Dennis Olhausen games.
this is um, a fun game. Great contracts, but the dice drafting is good. The puzzle from the beginning is good because it gives you cards, it gives you a direction. You need to go certain ways. You need to, and during the game you will think. It also gives you different avenues to fulfill your objectives. Those crazy powers are crazy powers. I don't know if one is better than the other. I think there was one which was completely overpowered and you have to take it out, but otherwise they're all crazy, and you have expansions which give you more crazy stuff, and you can pick and choose which one you like. Um, so and usually those powers are skewed towards a strategy in the game, so you would need to use it in a certain way. So what can I say more about this game? It has a good production, and I think the production still holds up to this day. Again, I don't need screen printed meeples, and I don't know, dice which are golden with golden or something. It's a good production, looks good cardboard. So nice wooden meeple houses, wooden houses. So if you can still find it, I don't know if they reprinted it, try this game. I think you're going to enjoy it.
I hope they don't reprint it and mess
It's
about
a good
with
one.
the aesthetics of it.
Hopefully, yeah.
Anyway,
Hopefully.
I'm surprised that you have so many dice games in your list. The way you throw them, and you always get ones. You're Snake Eyes master.
I think there's a special power in Marco Polo that one of the characters doesn't actually have to roll their dice; they can choose the faces of it. So maybe just play
I
with
like
that
that
well.
one.
6, another 6.
Oh, what do you know?
But I do like the fact that
Mike,
there is
like it.
things which you can do with those ones, and you can block people to do some things, or anyway, you can do things with dice, and I think that's the last dice one. Let's go to number 4. Number 4.
Right.
Okay.
Johnny, you have the honor.
Yeah, let's see, where did my number 4 go? Okay, so this one does have a controversial theme, but they've redone the theme, and it's been printed, and then there's a deluxe version with a new theme coming out, which is good. And that would be Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
It does. It's Puerto Rico, yeah.
Oh.
And so they've revamped it and done a pretty nice job with reworking the theme. It's cultural consultants and all that, and they kind of botched the new production on the first print run of this. They forgot to put in some important rules details that they just assumed, so it's actually kind of hard to use it. And I'm very glad they're fixing that in later print runs, and then this new deluxe edition is going to take some of the expansion-y things and put it all together. I'm really looking forward to that, just to have a nice, because it's a great game. It's kind of a shame that arbitrarily I think they chose a problematic theme and rolled with it and didn't think twice about it until somebody eventually said something and all that. And if people really have a problem with it, you've got New Frontiers by Tom Lehman, which is kind of like Puerto Rico in space. So if you want to sidestep the whole problem, just go to space and deal with it there. This game it's a classic Euro, and it's also been very influential. So things like 4X game Twilight Imperium, it wouldn't exist without Puerto Rico coming first, and Race for the Galaxy and San Juan. There's so many derivative games where I choose an action, I perform this thing, and then everybody else can follow that action to a lesser degree mechanism. This is the one that did that. And also one of my favorite things, which keeps coming back in, is mini games, where it's like you can build, you can export, you can kind of play around with some different criteria, and there's even different ways that the game ends to drive the ending. So it could be through filling up your player board lots of buildings, or it could be by exporting a lot, which would then accrue you a certain number of victory point tokens, which signals the end. And then there's kind of like, if the pieces run out, ending. I think it's a fantastic game, and it's been very influential in my own work, especially with the game Coloma, where you're kind of selecting an action, and then if a bunch of people kind of piggyback on that action, it's a little bit worse than if they did something different. So it's I'd almost say it's like there's Puerto Rico, and then there's Race for the Galaxy, and I've been very influenced by Race for the Galaxy, which was influenced by Puerto Rico, if we want to look at it that way.
Did San Juan went first and then Race, or was the other way around?
San Juan was first. So I think Tom Lehman consulted on San Juan, helped with that, and then got inspired and brought it into space and did that one. And then he has a game called The City, which was also very similar to Jump Drive, which is like a same kind of game, but much faster. If you want to just like knock one of those out real quick in 10 minutes kind of thing, that's a nice alternative. Then there's, of course, the Race for the Galaxy has a Roll for the Galaxy, which is similar but different, but you have dice in this case. And then you got New Frontiers, which kind of goes full
It's
circle
here.
and is a proper board game again. And I think New Frontiers is a very good, like, all-encompassing thing that took the best of all this stuff and put it into one box. But by the time it came out, a lot of people were kind of like, "Oh, well, I've got all these other games that already do that. Why do I want more?" And like, because it did it in one nice box. It just has everything in it, and it's not problematic.
I
So
kind of like New Frontiers. I like more Puerto Rico than I like New Frontiers, I have to say. And I
yeah, makes
really,
sense. It
really, really
makes
like
sense.
Puerto Rico. And I still wait for that expansion for New Frontiers for, I don't know, 5 years now. I don't know how long.
Yeah, it's finally coming out. Yeah,
This
yeah.
season?
So
This season, I think it might be.
I think it's out in the U.S. right now. I think it's just come out
Yeah.
finally.
Oh,
So it should be. I'd say in Europe, it's probably just a little bit, because they're a U.S.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
publisher. So I think in Europe it'll be a Nessun thing, if not already.
Man, yeah, good pick. Very good pick. I would want to,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was hoping you would pick something bad, but you don't. Okay,
There's you can pick on this one.
okay,
I know you
okay,
will. Because I specifically picked this one just to piss you off.
okay.
Um,
This is how we
this
roll,
is my
Johnny.
favorite. Just
This is how we roll.
just fo-
Okay.
this is we're following the trend of medieval settings and all that because that's kind of my jam. I really enjoyed those. This is my favorite Garfield game.
Oh no.
Look at his
Oh
face.
no. Oh no.
So this is Architects of the West Kingdom. I really enjoy the whole thing about putting a meeple, getting something, and the more you have, the more income you get.
Or so
The gimmick is that someone can just grab them
so
and send them to prison and exchange for
Mm-mm.
coins, and on goes. And to build some buildings. I know that's the case, but it has improved with the expansions, and they added the more stuff for you to do. So it's not just very linear. Yeah, I need those resources. I complete that contract. I put the card down, and I get something for doing that. Um, I really enjoyed the first expansion with the craftsmen, or
yeah, yeah,
what,
yeah. Which
the
should be in the
artisans,
box.
Age of Artisans. Yeah, and that kind of adds that variety that it's missing while you have a lot of gameplays. It kind of can get samey fast, so that adds variety, and you can upgrade your workers to do more than just one thing. You can put him to get stone and wood,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
example.
yeah. And
Um,
you get the
so
fat worker,
yeah,
which works
you
a lot.
have
Works twice.
a big pool of about
The fatty.
18, 20 workers that you can deploy, and it's kind of lose track of where all those are, and you have to pay attention to the prison and how
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
to manage your
So in its
resources.
base, for me, this game is I scratch like this.
Here it comes.
I scratch
Here
like
it
this.
comes.
Why do I need to scratch with my right hand on my left ear? Why do I need to do
Yeah, yeah,
that?
yeah.
Why do I need to send one, send another one, send a third? Oh, finally I can get more. Oh no, you can't, because I'm coming and taking all your workers and I'm putting them into prison. And if you want to take them back, well, maybe wait for someone else to take them from prison and then. No, no, I do not like that. I don't
Okay.
like that.
It's King of Tokyo #1, just so you know.
It's I always make the comparison between this one and the Pillars of the Earth. Get resources to build buildings or build stuff. That is this one is why it got. I have to say I do like this game when you add both expansion, especially the second expansion, which focuses the game. And the way you place workers, now you have the princess and I don't know, there's another and the way you place workers becomes far more interesting than just send one worker, get one resource, send one worker, get two resources, send one worker, get three resources.
You realize this is my number 4 and you're just smashing.
Yes,
Okay, so yes, leave it to me.
No,
This
I
will
won't.
always be in my
I know
collection
it will.
and in my top 10.
I
mean, why do we always have this discussion? It's always always there.
Well, you chose it, my friend. You should know better.
I know. I looked. I picked the fight. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, probably knowing it, knowing it's going to happen. And yeah, I think I do like it with the second expansion because it focuses the game, and I think it's good with the second expansion. But the main gripe I have with this game is that it needs the expansions in order to be really, really good and to make it a game that you would play more than just 10 times. That's the main gripe I have
now there is.
With it.
So...
And they fixed that with the South Trilogy. I think the South Trilogy is far better in its base than or practically starting with Viscounts, but that's another story. Let's go to my number 4, right? My number 4 is a game which had a first edition. It became hard to find. It became crazy expensive. You couldn't find it for 6 or 7 years, I think, and it finally came out again.
Glory to Rome.
No, Glory. You can't find. Where can you find Glory to Rome?
I don't know. It's another holy grail.
And that one probably will never be found. But this one is, and it has also a new edition in the sea. I don't really care about it. The game is Endeavor: Age of Sail. I really enjoy this game. It's a worker placement engine builder at its heart. It's an engine builder. But it has a tiny bit of worker placement, it has a tiny bit of tableau builder, it has 3 or 4 tracks which you need to grow on them. Those will give you abilities during the game practically, and points at the end. I like that the expansion comes with a whole new set of buildings which mixes it up. And you have enough replayability. It's very easy to teach. It's easy to learn, in my opinion, for the type of the game it is, but it gives you deep strategy. And the way you place your discs, which I've replaced with meeples, because I don't like discs, because I think it doesn't assume okay, we are talking about a game about conquering. Yeah, this was the world back then. We were conquering stuff. This is what happened. We have I don't play a game for the enjoyment of reviving history. I don't do that. I just play, okay, I play a game for the mechanisms, for the fun it gives me, and I am not reenacting history when I play a game. Okay, this is what happened. We need to talk about it. We need to know what happened. In order, there is a saying, you need to know your history for it to not repeat itself. So yeah, we need these topics. We need to just talk about it. Yeah, this is what happened. This is what we're doing. And the fun of it is, the way you grow on tracks, the way it opens up new abilities, and let's say the theme here is a salad dressing, which you can spark discussion and say, yeah, that was bad in the history, but this is the way the world was built, and we have to acknowledge it and move past it and see how we can build a better world if we want to. So
not like this game will create new dictators or tyrants. We're just having fun and on a Saturday night.
I don't feel the need to go on.
Hold your pitchforks and torches.
Yeah, I don't feel the need to go on a ship and conquer some islands or some new worlds by playing this game.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite games when it came out. It definitely really impressed me when it came out, and I think I was pretty excited that they're reprinting it when they reprinted it to the bigger box, did a deluxe thing. I kickstarted it and the expansion, all that. I wasn't actually that impressed with the new stuff. It
Yeah,
felt
it's
like it kind of convoluted it, and some of the interactions were weird. And the rules overhead went from being a very, very easy game to teach to being not so much. And so I actually ended up selling my fancy edition and kept the old
I see.
2012 version or whatever it was when it came out, or 2010. It's an older game, but I have my old school version of it still, and I keep that around. And it does a few things that obviously people today aren't going to like. It's got just over colonialism, and then there's slavery in it, just outright overpowered cards. You get that there's slavery, and then if some player decides to abolish slavery, then the players who have leaned into that get penalized and they lose those cards, and it's kind of
Yep.
a big ding. But not every game is going to abolish slavery, and you got to just be ready for that to happen or not happen when you play that game.
Exactly. So
Yeah, great pick. I have it on my wall of shame. This is one that really calls for a game
playthrough at
for a
some point
playthrough.
if I get the chance.
Mm-hmm.
First, I have to finish what comes from publishers, and then we can play whatever we want.
Spoiler alert, that's not gonna stop anytime soon.
So let's go to our number 3, and now let's go to as we say, to the good ones. Until now, we have tricked the public. This is the good ones. Until now,
not from me. Don't count on
so
me.
your number 3, Mr. Johnny.
All right, so this was like really a toss-up. So one thing, I'm a full-time designer developer. I have not nominated any of the games I've worked on, even if I didn't author them as a thing. And this was one where I wrote down both games in my number 3 slot, and one of them is Glenmore 2. But I did work on the expansion for Glenmore 2, so I feel like maybe I shouldn't do that. So I'm gonna pivot just a skosh and say Kraftwagen. Which is the same designer and has a very, very similar drafting mechanism where your action is you pick something and you'll do that, and then it's not your turn again until other players have caught up with you and passed you. So it's kind of a time track thing. And then there's a bunch of mini games. You got a little racetrack over here, and you've got cards and technologies you can build. And you've got this market that you can sell cars to these kind of AI customers that have certain preferences in a very cutthroat market. And there's a new edition that was just on Kickstarter. I'm not exactly sure what they changed besides they've given it aesthetic facelift, which I backed it because I love the original so much. But I've got the original, and then they had like an upgrade pack at some point that changed a few of the tokens in the rondelle. Same designer, and if you love Glenmore, this is one of those things where it does have that same central mechanism, just done slightly differently. And whereas instead of drafting the tiles like Glenmore and building a kind of a Carcassonne player area in front of you, the tiles have 1 or 2 or 3 effects on it that you'll carry out in the various systems of the game, where it's maybe upgrading your engine of your car, maybe getting a new body of your car, going racing, or getting a new card to put in your tableau, which will give you some special abilities and things like that. I think it's a phenomenal design from, again, one of my favorite designers.
Yes, Kramer. Yes, you'll find the playthrough of this one on the channel. If you look for it, for a lot of these games, you will find a playthrough on the channel. I completely agree with you. I think this is a fun midweight Euro game, and I'm curious to see what I have reached them to try to get maybe a preview Kickstarter copy, but they did not answer.
Nice.
I wanted to see what's changed. I wanted to make a comparison of the editions. I'll try to get a copy to do a comparison. This is a fun game. Pretty. You haven't chosen anything bad until now. I still hope your number 1 is bad.
Might be. Actually, don't know if you'll like my number 1.
Let's go to you, Radu.
My number 3. So just following the footsteps of the one that we've talked before. It's another one that kind of almost is very close, that got me into the hobby. So when I discovered this game, it almost made me a gamer instantly. This is Pillars of the Earth. I know you kind of talked about it
So this was the
on
right
the other game,
choice
but
from the start.
so yeah, I have both of them. So just
Yeah.
pick one.
If you don't buy the
So
expansions for architects, you can use it in winter to hit yourself.
uh, okay, I'll keep that in mind. Or hit others. So Pillars of the Earth. It's one of the best boards I've seen, and I'm gonna you know this is a it's you can leave as a you know change of ideas. So yeah, it's very you formulaic in its order. You have to do this to do that to follow that, and you get the resources to complete to sell them for points. But how you get there, how many workers you send, how do you spread your workforce, what cards and how do you place your master builders? What cards are you after? What other players are taking away from you? So, you know, it's vivid in my mind. One gameplay that we played on the channel, I went all in on the stone, and then Bogey goes and picks the one that converts stone into points, and I said, "Wow, that's where I lost the game." At the very first very first choice. And yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it felt good.
it's it has a very good table presence, as you can see, with a building of the cathedral, which is kind of unnecessary, but it adds
Yeah, it's just a
flavor,
round counter
style.
practically. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. I like this game far more than I like so architects. Yeah, but this one,
Okay, I redeem
yeah, you
myself
redeem
then.
yourself with this one. This is a one of those older, fast, so tight. This is so
Yeah.
tight. The decision spaces. You have to make the right decisions. I don't think you make these kinds of games anymore. Uh,
This is like the very top of classical
yep,
Euro games. In my mind, I go directly to this type of artwork and design.
yep, yep,
So
yep.
yeah,
So it's my for number three. My three is also a classic, and I have chosen it. It came out. It went. It came out from Eggertspiele. It went. It again because it costed a lot on the second-hand market. It finally got a reprint, which was expensive as a lot.
yeah.
And in the end, it ended up having the older version at almost the same cost as, as the new version. Can you guess the game,
No.
Johnny? No? It's called Rococo.
What? Oh man, I
Oh,
just had it on my tongue.
that's a
Sorry.
great one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Another Matthias Kramer, right?
Yep.
yeah, Matthias Kramer and
And Stefan and
and the
Lewis Maltz.
Maltzes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so I still have, although I have the new version, I still have a pretty soft spot for the older version. I do like. This is my preference, and if we talk in person, I will explain why. I prefer Michael Menzel over. I like more Michael Menzel than I like Ian O'Toole, and I can explain that. And this is my personal preference, and we can talk it also if you want from a I don't know, a technical point of view. Um, so I still have this older version in my. The game is an area majority game in a way. You need to. You will have a hand management and an area majority. The area majority gives you points at the end, but the way you create dresses which you put on the ball, and that in the end gives you points. It's so fun. It's so easy to teach. It's fast to play, and I don't know. I don't like the fact that yeah. I don't know if in those times there were colored tailors, which the new version has. It's just in order to address I don't know what, but I don't think in those times in Europe, because we're talking about France. In I don't think they existed, and I did not like the that they did not. They tried to be in the new version. They tried to I don't know. Anyways, I'm not gonna get it.
Be more
Yeah, to be
politically
politically
correct and
correct and
inclusive.
inclusive in a time that I can't really think of that being the case in the times of Louis the 14th or the 15th, when
Yeah.
despotism was the main character. So that's the thing which I did not like in the new version. But I have the new version because the new version has the expansion. I think the expansion makes the game better. It it
Mhm.
gives you
It's a good
it
expansion.
gives you one or two more things to think about, and it's just good. And yeah, I do like this game. It's fun, and I could say either way. If you find the older version, you have the newer version, play it and have fun with it. And
Yeah, it's a great game.
one thing is you had this is a thing with older games. You had an older game which costed around 40 euros. This was the cost of this game, and you get a reprint which is I don't know
120
something like
euros
that,
here.
and you get more or less the
Yeah,
same game. And that is a thing which it's not really well for the hobby for the most players. I don't think it was yeah the best
Yeah,
thing.
it's kind of prohibited for a lot of people, even if they try to get into the hobby. That title with that price tag,
Yeah,
it's kind of outside its
yeah,
it's kind of like
community.
in a Lacerda sized box with a
yeah,
Lacerda artist and all the thing with that price tag. Usually, you're going to get something that's like on Mars and that kind of box. But the weight of this one, obviously, is on this list. Is it's a truly a midweight game. It's not a heavy Lacerda game, so it is a little bit oversized for
for what it
perhaps
is.
what it
Exactly.
is. Yeah.
That's my main issue with. I have it because it was impossible to find the expansion. It was just oh,
Yeah, the Julia box is really hard to get for a long time. So,
and in order I kind of it kind of would have costed me the same to buy the expansion or the newer version. I said okay, it's a
mhm.
no brainer in the end when the Kickstarter went, so I went for that. But I still have the old game, and I'm not getting rid of it because I like it and I like playing on it. I have the chance. So my number three
Okay.
was Rococo. What is
Good one.
so? Let's go to number two.
I know we're getting down there. So this is one where there's two games that kind of fill the spot, same designer. And I'm going to go with the lighter of the two since this is kind of a midweight thing because I think arguably the other one is heavy. So this is a game called First Class. And
Is
it's kind of like Russian
The card
Railroads or
game?
Ultimate Railroads, the
Yeah.
card game, right? And so it's a little bit lighter. It's a lot easier to teach. I love Russian Railroads proper and Ultimate Railroads with the big box and all that stuff. And I think it's phenomenal. But I'm going to say First Class just because it is a lot lighter of a game, but it still has some cool modularity to it. I think as a design, I wish this designer would make more Euro games like this because he makes all these 18xx
Yeah.
train games, a whole big catalog of them, and he's done very, very few Euro games, but they're so good. And it's one of
Did he do
the
Tramban? I think he did Tramban also.
he did that one too. Yeah, that's a good one. These games are interesting because they got all different systems going on and little modules and things like that, but they're very sandboxy in a way of how you can do things. Even the rules are kind of like the timing is weird because just a lot of things can fire off and the combos you do during the scoring phases of First Class are just bonkers. They really are. You can pay for a card that does something that fires off something else, which moves you on a track, which in that track moves off something else, and you just see these insane combos happen, almost like nothing else. And if you're into a combo tastic thing, it's the scoring sections of First Class that do that like none other. Is on your average turn, you're just going to draft a card, put it where it belongs. Next person is pretty quick, and then it comes down to like, all right, now let's score, and everything fires off in such a satisfying way. And I've played all the modules for it, and I think the ones that come in the base game are good. And then there's a few that you can chase down through their website and stuff like that that are also good. And they kind of do some funny things where like one of them's like a murder on the Orient Express where you might be the murderer. And so you kind of get some special abilities, but if you're caught, you lose. And one game I remember playing is like I knew I was going to get caught and lose as the murderer, but I had this enormous score, so I just wanted to go out in like a blaze of fire and just crush everybody, and then just lose because of being caught as a murderer. And that's probably the most enjoyable way for me to lose a game was playing that module.
I see. Yeah, this is also one I do not have in my collection, and one I would have wanted to have in my collection. But
I love this game.
And I like it
there.
far more than I like Russian Railroads.
Oh, really? Okay.
Far more than I like. I'm not a big fan of Russian Railroads, mainly because it does need expansions in order to shine.
Yeah, that's why I say Ultimate Railroads, where they got everything in the box, really seals the deal, where they took all the stuff that was hard to get and they put a new expansion in there, and it's got all these modules and stuff, and Ultimate Railroads seals the deal. But I'd say as a standalone product, First Class is just
exactly
excellent. It's very easy to teach, and it's just very clean.
Yep, exactly. Let's go to Radu's number 2.
Yeah. All right. So this is the newest game on my list, and it's a darling and it's pretty high on the GG list as well, due to the fact that I really enjoy the theme and the new movies that come out.
Is it called Dune?
This is Dune,
Which
Imperium,
one?
or
Give me which one?
slightly heavier Uprising. Okay. I haven't played that one, but I did play Imperium. So.
We'll choose Uprising.
No, Imperium is fine. I don't know what that one has installed.
I have not played this game today.
So this has the main 2 mechanisms that I really like in board games, which is deck building and worker placement.
I see.
With a bit of a power struggle with armies and all that to gain bonuses on cards that will give you points or other resources. So yeah, it's your standard, worker placement. When you go to a spot, you block that, you get the stuff, and you convert that. And you have cards that you use during your gameplay, and the ones that you don't use are converted into armies, or depending on the strength of the conflict itself. So I really enjoyed every time I played this one, and it kind of wants you to explore more of the combos that come from these cards, right? Because you need to ally yourself with these different factions in order to do well on these tracks. But if you ally with too many, then you don't synergize with any of them, and you kind of, you play one card and it doesn't piggyback or it doesn't combo with any other one. So yeah, it's a really good experience. I really enjoy this one. Yeah, so just to have a modern one on my list.
Yeah, it's a good one. I have played the new Uprising, and I would say if you're gonna do Dune Imperium, a lot of the purists like Dune Imperium, and they say the first expansion is a must-have because it almost is like a patch kit that they fixed a few things that experienced players found exploitable in the first one. And then Uprising, I think, as a single product, arguably was aware of those things. And it's like, if you want a one-box thing and not have to get an expansion or anything else, it's good for that. And it has all those cool little Sandworm minis in it too. So it's it's a good alternative, I think, for like if you're just going to buy one game, that the Uprising is very good for a single purchase.
All right.
Okay. It seems all right.
Your number 2?
So my number 2 is a game that it's called. We have talked about this game. I will not dwell on it too long. It's an overlap with Radu. It's a game about growing up in a village and having fun. And going and seeing.
There's no surprise there with having a. We both love this game.
I like the board card placement aspect of it. I like the fact that your meeples have a limited life and you have to be as efficient as possible with it, as life is. I like the fact that you have to be how is it called? How should I say it? You have to I don't know, when you go into the office, well, you need to bribe a little bit in order to get up on ranks into the office, in order to get to be mayor. You need to bribe a bit the church in order to be certain that your family becomes higher in the ranks of the church. You can be a craftsman, you can go to the market, you can. I really think you need the port expansion because it makes the going out into the world makes it a bit more interesting, and you can create better combos for points. And the end might sneak up on you, as it happened on one of our streams where Radu did not realize that he's drunk. The guy he had on the inn was going to die, and he was the drunk of the village, and the drunk of the village just died at some point and ended the game, and he did not foresee that. And he was having a lot of cubes, and he wanted to do something with those cubes. So you can't hoard things, and you need to be efficient of how you use those cubes. It's a game that helps you tell stories. It's a game that has a lot of heart, and my main reason with the new edition, and I think it removed all the heart for it, and it went for money. Let's sell a lot of copies by making it look like a game that looked like another game which sold some money for us, which sold some copies for us, and make that some money, which was Coimbra. With taking out the fact that they made an American, which is don't get me wrong, that's really bad that he's which is a great. I think it's a great. And I have an interview with him. A great illustrator, which is Chris Williams, but
it's Canadian, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry, it's Canadian. But you took out the German heart of the game. The game looks in a certain. When I see the new version, I don't see Germany back then. When I look at the older version, I feel the heart of a German village coming out. You practically, it's like at some point it was when he did Fences. Denzel Washington did Fences. He directed it, and he was asked, could not Martin Scorsese do Fences? And he said he could have done Martin Scorsese. He could have done Fences, but it's a matter of culture. The smell of a cum in the morning, you smell. And he was talking about with another colored person, and he said, "You smell when I tell you, cum, the smell of a cum in the morning, it will create a certain feeling to you." When to Martin Scorsese, he does not give the same. He cannot create the same feeling because it's not. It's a matter of culture. It's not a matter of being able to do something. So, in order to create that culture, Dennis Lohausen, he comes from that culture. He knows how to create it. That's why Village looks, and it creates a certain feeling. at the table. And that's why I want that, like I said, I want to play the new game and I want to show with colors and everything. I want to show why you can create a wrong direction without understanding, without really understanding the culture you are talking about.
Yeah.
So this is that, and again, now the game has, it is, I think it's more expensive to get this one than the new version. Again. And now let's go to our number one, and we are finally almost over. So
okay.
close.
I don't know if you're going to agree with this one with me. I know this one might be a little bit of a surprise. So this one was at the time it just came out, and it was one of the heavier games I had played as a gamer, and it made quite an impression on me. And it's also a game that warmed me up to some mechanisms I didn't naturally like in other games. I played some auction and bidding games before I played this particular game, and I didn't grasp the ability to evaluate and
I'm preparing
what's at stake and how much people want, right, and that sort of thing. And this game changed that for me, and it also changed a few other things. And I have a very soft spot for this game, and this would be the Days of Wonder printing of Colosseum from 2006. And it's a Wolfgang Kramer design with co-designer Marcus.
I do not disagree with you. It's far better than the second one, but it was hard to find the. It's hard to find the.
Yeah, it's hard to find it, but this game is effectively there's some phases to it, but you're buying some stuff with your money at the start of the round, which is fairly simple, and then there's a auction. You're trying to acquire tokens that will fulfill performances you're trying to put on, and then once everybody bids on this auction, it goes into a Chinatown-esque kind of trading phase where you can just openly trade almost anything for anything else. And
I do like the new version of trading. I think it's better because it keeps the game moving a little bit.
So it depends on who you're playing with. Sometimes with people who know the market pretty well, nobody trades. They just go, nope, I'm not going to help you, and just boom, they just move right through. And then you put on the performance, and you may not have all the things. Like if the rest of the fulfillment games, usually you either have all this stuff or you don't. In this case, you can try to assemble as much of it as you can and put on performance, and that's going to kind of scale to how many of those ingredients you've got that match what you're looking for. And then, unlike other games, this has non-cumulative scoring. So what you score in one round, if I score 25 points and I score another 25 points, I don't have 50 points in that next round. It's your high water mark. So you're actually kind of like building and building and building to things that will stack and do this one big epic performance at the end and push your high water mark up as high as possible. And that's going to determine the winner of the game. And everything that leads toward that is pretty fascinating. It's just building and building and building this floor and trying to reinvest in your system until you get this epic moment. And I think that the last moment of that game has a different feel than so many other games.
Yeah, I do like this game. It is a bit of a shameless plug. It will be it will be reprinted by Fantasia, and you are a part of Fantasia. But the game is good, and I do like it, and I do like the as you say, the growing nature of it. You'll feel like it's more and more and more, and you add up and you add up, and you look for those performances that it will work well with the other performances you have. So this is a game which I really, really enjoy, and I can't wait to see what you do with it.
To give a little backstory on that, why I feel okay putting it on the list, it was already one of my very favorite games, and it's maintained that way. And I'm even recorded on 5 Games for Doomsday saying I would bring that with me. And the story goes that we heard that Princess of Florence license was let up by the license holder, and so we contacted Wolfgang Kramer to try to get the Princess of Florence, and he said, "Sorry, somebody else already licensed it. I've got a few other games in my catalog which are available." And he presented those to Fantasia, and they hadn't heard of Coliseum. They said, "Yeah, there's this kids game, and then some Coliseum thingy." And I said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 what? Did you just say Coliseum?" And I begged them. I was like, "Please, can we have it?" And they're like, "All right, if you think it's a great game." I'm like, "I love it. It's my favorite game. I would love to publish that and bring back some of the things from the Days of Wonder version, which people loved, and then give it the Fantasia treatment with their, upgraded artwork." And so that's kind of the story. And I'm very honored to be overseeing that project.
What people liked more of the Colosseum, of the Days of Wonder version, was the artwork.
Yeah, the aesthetics of it, and the pawns and all that. Yeah, it's very nice table presence.
Okay, Mr. Radu, what is your number one?
Yeah, I'm struggling.
Tokyo, okay.
No.
I am still waiting for it.
Well, maybe on another list. No, just because this is a medium weight Euro game. This might not fit that characteristic or the brief. But I do have a backup in case you're alarmed and you do not agree with what I've picked. So this is just by artwork alone, it's worth the title. So this is about the Celtic clans, dudes on a map. This is what I would choose. If it's not a Euro game, I agree with that.
Yeah. This was so hard not to pick for me. This is
This
is more of a dudes on a map. It has some
it is, but the artwork is just, I could not pick this one. It's
it's Inish. Let's
Does it have unusual shaped tiles?
Yeah, the leaf territory that you put that puzzle you put together. It has different terrains. Everything, you interact differently. You have 3 different ways of ending the game. Whoever reaches that point first, it's a bit of a race to that. You have cards that will tell what ability that territory has that nobody else at the table can have. It's a
very good game.
Struggle for domain. Does this pass? Am I getting a pass, or do you want?
I consider those Inish and Cyclades and Kemet to be Eurogame hybrids that are dudes on the map with a lot of Eurogame influences in them, and I've always kind of grandfathered those into the Eurogame category.
Oh, okay.
It's in the same category with Blood Rage. That's also I'd say it's up there. It has drafting, so we can call it a Eurogame.
Okay. Does it work?
We'll let you keep it.
I passed the test. That's good.
And I do like the game. You have. I mean, yeah. Well, it's.
At least it's not King of Tokyo.
King of Tokyo. Yeah.
No, this is one of my favorite sets. I
just fun.
Take it out and look at the cards now and again, and just amazed of it. The Jim Fitzpatrick is actually an artist, and his artwork is reflected in the game, and it merges perfectly with what with the theme of it. So
fun game.
So
fun game. And let's go to my number one, which is it won't be a surprise to anyone. I think this is the with Rococo, with Village. If you have seen, these are all mid-weight Euro games. They're around 3 on the BGG scale. For me, the number one is, and it will probably be for a long time for what it does, and always brings a lot of fun, a lot of pleasure playing it. And also, I see that with latest maps, I get some new things. The game is, of course, Concordia.
Concordia?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Concordia is just, it's, I get hand management, I get route building, I get an interesting way of scoring. I get good interaction on the board, and it's a positive interaction. I have to think, where do you build? Do I build right now there? Does the other players we're going to come there? Do I need that resources, or I go further on and I try to build there? Do I build in every province, or do I build more in one province? Because now I can, with Concordia Venus, I can score if I build twice in one province, and I think this is the scoring that missed in Concordia, and I think he covered it with Venus. What cards do I get? Uh, do I that moment when do I flip? Man, I don't want to do that action, but there is 5, 6, 7 money on the board right now, and I would get 5, 6, 7 money right now, which I would need because money is so tight in the game. But man, I don't want to do that action. I would want to do something else. But money is also important. And I have all these good choices, and you need to get out colonists because you need to make space in your on your board. And how do you play the cards? What is the order? How do you play in short bursts and take your cards in your hand, or do you play in longer and you try to get money more at the end? You're efficient this way. The cards that you take into your hand, does it help you if you play play a longer suit of cards? If you play more cards on the cards that you take, will it help you? It has so many good choices. It has so many good maps for 2 now, 3, 4, 5 players. I think it can even go up to 6, and you can play in teams if you want to. I've never played it, but I've heard it's not bad. It's a classic for a reason, and we have enjoyed. The new maps add ways to do a bit of comboing. You can with I don't know it exactly, with with the Rome map, I think you can combo because you move your ship and you get some money. That money you can use it for an action to build something, and it adds new things, and it's good. It's just good. I have no bad words to say about it. The only bad words you could say in the beginning, it's you don't have maps for 2 players, but now you have maps for 2 players, and you can enjoy it as a 2-player game, as you enjoy it as a 3 or 4. I think 4 is the best for the game, depending on the map, but 3 or 4 is the best for how the game feels. And yeah, only good things to say about Concordia, and it is a very it's not hard to teach. It doesn't overstay its welcome. So for all these reasons, I really like, and that's why it is my number 1 midweight Euro game.
Good
Yeah.
one.
So
That's a
that's
very
28.
airtight design.
28 games for you. Which one should we play?
I don't know.
They're all
Let's
good.
close the TVs. Sir, Mr. Johnny, thank you very much for doing this one with us. I hope you had fun. I know it's late there in Nevada,
Oh, I'm a night owl.
but it was the only way we could. Us in the morning, you at night. That was the only way we could do it to make it work.
Yeah, it works perfect for me.
I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed.
Definitely, I like a lot of the games that you guys mentioned too. So it's fun seeing the overlap, and the runners up were often the ones that you guys picked. So I felt like we touched on a lot of things. If somebody was getting into the hobby and wanted to make a shopping list of these games, I think they do pretty well with this in their collection.
Yeah, if they enjoy if they enjoy they enjoy the hobby and they want to make a step towards heavier games, I think these are a list of this is a list of games which they could try and see. Okay, I want to go further, or I think this is good for me, or I don't want to go further than what I am where I am now.
There's just two ingredients
What?
missing: is time and people. Well, that's why solo gaming is so
Yeah,
important right now.
yeah. Or I don't know, if you don't have people, you make kids and you grow them.
It didn't work on me.
Doesn't work with you. Oh,
He prefers the
uh,
screen than
you need to
cardboard.
find, yeah, yeah. It's you'll get them there. You'll get them there. We wish you a good night, but don't close it yet, Johnny.
Well,
And thank you, Radu, again for doing this. We'll see you. We are doing a small festival here in Bucharest, the first festival, board game festival, in Bucharest next week. So we're gonna have Radu here, and finally, not in Barcelona, having it here. Maybe we'll get the chance to play a game on stream here at the table. And see you there. See you on the next one. And Johnny, you're as always.
can't wait.
As always, we have talked about this stop, I think, for, I don't know, when I asked you around a year ago or so. I know you.
It's been a while. It's
yeah,
been a while. Long time coming.
Yeah. When we're gonna have the time, we will always like having you invited here. Thank you a lot for doing it again.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, this was our top 10 midweight Eurogames. If you like what you see, please, as I said, like, share, and subscribe, because it keeps the internet alive and keeps us going. And yeah, you'll have a list of 28 games which you could check out and see where you find. If you like our top 10s, you can find other on the channel. There are a few of them. We're gonna do some more. We like talking about board games. And again, if you like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. It's important to us. And until next time, I'm thanking you again, Johnny, for helping doing this top 10, and wish you all what it says here: play a lot, play loads, have fun, and bye bye, fine folks, wherever in the world you are.
Cheers.
Ooh, sorry.